Okay, Ida, I want you to talk about how you got to Sam and where you came from.
Okay, I worked for Christopher Reeve for a number of years, and Sam invited Chris and I to Indianapolis to experience the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I met Sam and just thought he was an incredible, very special person. And you've met him, and he has this little glint in his eye and just a great sense of humor. And
That's a racing glint. I'm coming to learn and understand. Absolutely.
a racing glint. I'll have to remember that. And we stayed in touch. I invited him to the research symposiums because I wanted him to learn more about the research. And then after Chris passed away, Sam asked me to head up his foundation and knew it was going to be challenging because it was a young foundation and needed to grow. And so the last 6 years, it's been 6 years, has been a challenge, a lot of work, but I love it.
I don't think people quite understand what foundations actually do. So the Sam Schmidt Paralysis Foundation, what are the goals and what do you do on a daily basis to kind of get that going? I know it's a loaded question, but
Well, our goal is to find a cure for paralysis, and we are absolutely committed to this. Our board is committed to it. We're undertaking a major project for a foundation of our size that we will be unveiling probably in the next several months. Um, we feel that there's a lot of room for the research. We want the researchers from all over the globe to collaborate. There's work being done in Europe, in Asia, this country, and we just want the researchers to work together. So what we do, the bulk of what we do is we raise money to fund research to find cures and treatments. Now, there's not going to be one cure and there's not going to be one treatment. It will be several, whether it will be an operation, there'll be drugs, physical therapy, I don't quite know. But it'll be a combination of therapies that one day we're going to find a cure. If we can go to the moon, we should be able to find a cure for spinal cord injury and paralysis. There are 6 million people in this country alone who have some type of paralysis. And there's 1.5 million people who have spinal cord injuries. And we want to change their lives. So the bulk of what we do is raise money for research. And then we do what we call quality of life grants. We don't give money to individuals. We're not set up to do that. But we recognize that you can't separate the human element from what's happening. So we will fund organizations that directly benefit people who have spinal cord injuries. We do a lot of things with the soldiers coming back from Iraq. Of course, now the soldiers just left this week. And the soldiers in Afghanistan, a lot of them are coming back spinal cord injured. So we'll fund things like Homes for Our Troops, where we actually help build homes for the soldiers or make their homes accessible. We do some things with the Wounded Warriors, do a lot of adaptive sports. I mean, Sam is all about sports, obviously. So we fund a lot of adaptive water skiing, snow skiing, rugby, wheelchair rugby. I don't know whether you've ever seen that, but that is just so awesome and rough.
I've actually done the skiing, but not the rugby. So
Yeah, it's pretty rough. And then we do our program at the tracks called Day at the Races. And I think Sam spoke to you a little bit about that. And that's basically to mix, get people who are newly injured with people who have been injured for a while and get them to talk. And there's some informal peer mentoring going on. So even though the people who are newly injured, their life has just drastically changed. And for some of them, this is the first time they've either been out of the VA hospital or a hospital, and life is a little daunting. But this is kind of a safe atmosphere, and we have people around, and they then begin to realize they can maneuver their wheelchairs in crowds, they can use handicapped accessible bathrooms, and they have a great time.
now, I know that you're working with Andretti. They're sponsor some of this today here.
Yes, the Andretti Group have sponsored our Day at the Races for a number of years. And the other teams are very supportive of us. They support our events. And the drivers, I mean, I can't say enough things about the drivers. They will sign autographs for our people, they will have their photographs taken. And Firestone Racing, I mean, they have been such supporters of ours, and IZOD, IndyCar, it's like a family. And they all come together. They respect Sam. They look at him. They see what he does. He's a championship team owner, and they absolutely respect him.
I think that they really look beyond his wheelchair because he's a team owner, he's a former driver, and just like I was talking to Sam about, he's no different than sitting down with Johnny Rutherford, who just wants to be here and part of it, and they're embedded. I mean, they are embedded in racing forever. I mean,
Absolutely. So, you know, we look to them for support. We have a golf outing coming up in November in Las Vegas, and they'll come out and support that. And people can find out more about the foundation if they visit our website, samschmidt.org. You'll find out about Day at the Races, find out about the grants that we've given, the quality of life grants, the events coming up, and you can even make a donation.
that's always good. We'd like to hear that. So I have to ask you, of course, the $1 million or $1 billion question. How close are we to a cure or a treatment that could really change the way that paralyzed people live?
Well, there are people in this country who are going elsewhere. A lot of people are going to Portugal. Some people are going to India. I don't comment. I don't tell them my opinion because that's not up to me. That's a personal decision that they have to make. People coming back report that they feel differently. I don't see any movement, but what we're about to embark on, we're hoping that in 7 years there'll be some pretty drastic changes made in the scientific community. We're going to challenge the scientists, and we're going to challenge the venture capitalists. This is a big business. If there was a cure found, treatments, it's a $10 billion business. And so we're going to put all these people together, and what we want to do, there's a log jam with people thinking you can't find a cure. We want to unclutter that log jam. We want people to think out of the box, and that's what this new project is going to be all about.
Was Christopher Reeve the first person with paralysis that touched your life? Because you're very touched by all this.
Yes, I never knew anyone prior to meeting Chris, and I was asked to interview with him, and within 10 seconds, it was, oh my gosh, if I could do anything to change not just his life, because he had a good life, he had a career, and he's not like most of the people who become spinal cord injured who live on less than $15,000 a year. If you can change their lives just a little bit, I would feel like my life was so worthwhile. If you could just have research for someone like Sam, who would be able to move his arms and his fingers, he'd be able to hug his children, his wife, and if you were a female, you'd be able to comb your own hair, put your makeup on, brush your teeth. I mean, what would that mean to someone's quality of life? Most of the people I talk to say they're okay in the wheelchair, but they want to move their hands and their fingers, and they want to have bowel and bladder control. That's what they want, and we should be able to give it to them.
Like you said, if we can go to the moon, we should be able to do this as well.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm convinced we can do it.